Tonight, the company formerly known as Facebook is now called Meta. That's the new corporate name for the parent company overseeing Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger.
In 2021, Mark Zuckerberg made the announcement that Facebook was changing its name to Meta and creating what is known as the Metaverse, a massive virtual world that would reshape the internet and humanity forever. However, 2 years later, Facebook's ambitious plans to build a new reality have faced major setbacks, resulting in losses of over $13 billion on the project. Let's take a look back in history to understand why Zuckerberg's vision failed to become a reality. You'll find that history could have told us that the metaverse was doomed before it even began. But first, we need to ask this one question. What exactly is the metaverse? The term metaverse was first coined in Neal Stephenson's 1992 science fiction novel, Snow Crash. In the novel, the metaverse refers to a virtual reality shared by millions of people. Stephenson imagined a world in which individuals could log into a shared digital space and interact with one another in real time using avatars. It's worth noting that while Stephenson may have been the first person to use the term metaverse, he was building on ideas that had been around for decades. The concept of virtual reality, for example, can be traced back to the 1960s, when researchers began exploring the possibility of creating computer-generated environments that users could interact with in real time. The metaverse in Snow Crash is a sprawling virtual city that operates as a kind of parallel universe to the real world. In recent years, the concept of the metaverse has gained renewed attention, thanks in part to advances in virtual reality technology and the growing popularity of blockchain-based digital assets. Companies like Decentraland and Somnium Space are now creating fully immersive virtual worlds where people can buy and sell digital real estate, trade virtual goods, and interact with each other in a variety of ways. Despite the excitement surrounding these new metaverse platforms, however, there are significant challenges that the concept must overcome if it is to become a mainstream phenomenon. Facebook isn't the first person to try and create the ideal metaverse. On December 11, 2008, PlayStation launches what they call PlayStation Home. PlayStation Home was designed as a free-to-play social gaming platform where users could create their own avatars, customize their apartments, and interact with other players in a virtual world. It was intended to be a hub for socializing, gaming, and entertainment for PlayStation 3 users. The platform was launched with a variety of themed spaces that included game-themed areas such as Uncharted, Drake's Fortune, Resistance, and Warhawk. It also had public spaces such as the Central Plaza, where users could meet and interact with others, play mini-games, and attend virtual events. One of the notable features of PlayStation Home was the ability to purchase virtual items, such as clothing, furniture, and accessories for the user's apartment or avatar. The virtual items were purchased using real-world money or virtual currency earned by playing games or completing tasks within the platform. In addition to gaming and socializing, Home was also used as a platform for advertising and promoting games and products. Companies such as Red Bull, Axe, and Nike created virtual spaces and items within the platform to promote their brands. Despite its popularity and unique features, PlayStation Home faced criticism for its slow loading times, limited game selection, and lack of substantial updates. In addition, the platform faced competition from other virtual worlds such as Second Life and IMVU. Sounds similar to Meta, right? Sony announced the closure of PlayStation Home in September 2014, citing a shift in focus to other areas of gaming. PlayStation Home was a noble, failed experiment, but the results of a failed experiment are meant to be picked up on and learned by future generations, so they don't make the same mistake. Amidst the economic uncertainty we are in right now on a global scale, it may be unreasonable to expect consumers to finance a pet project of Zuckerberg's. So what does this mean for Zuck's brainchild? One of the biggest challenges facing the metaverse is the issue of technology. While virtual reality and augmented reality have come a long way in recent years, they still have a long way to go before they can provide the kind of seamless, immersive experience that people expect from the metaverse. In particular, there are challenges around the hardware required to create a fully immersive experience, as well as issues around the development of realistic artificial intelligence and natural language processing. This brings us to the point about the fundamental issues with the virtual game itself. The graphics inside the metaverse were very low quality. PlayStation Home arguably had much better graphics and a stronger overall appearance than the metaverse does with its legless avatars. The lack of quality graphics and poor design was the subject of brutal criticism on Twitter. On top of the bad graphics and questionable avatar designs, Meta set the price of their VR headsets at a staggeringly high price tag. At launch in 2022, the Quest 2 headset was priced at $1,500. Both of these factors, among many others, play into the reason why the target number of users was drastically lower than the initial target set by Zuckerberg and his VR division. Meta had set their sights on having 500,000 monthly users on the platform by the end of 2022. However, they only were able to acquire less than 300,000 monthly users at the deadline, missing their target by a long shot. Most likely due to the lack of users and traction, Meta later had to make drastic price cuts to their VR headsets in hopes that the price change would encourage more customers to purchase a headset and plug into their platform.
He's wired in.
Needless to say, not much has changed. But that brings us to our final and scariest problem of them all that jumps out about the metaverse. It involves who has control over the virtual world. In a perfect world, the metaverse would be decentralized, with no one company having all of the control. What Zuckerberg and Facebook were trying to do was gain all of the power and market share of the digital world, making it a centralized platform. This comes as a big concern to several consumers, given the notorious history of Facebook's data policies and lack of user data privacy. Since the metaverse will likely involve massive amounts of personal data and information, there is a risk that this data could be misused. It's clear that investors want business activities that will result in actual progress for the company, and their patience has run thin with Zuckerberg's VR project. Every company has their rough phases, with Nintendo bouncing back from the failure of the Wii U or Apple learning their lessons from the Newton to bless us with the iPod. Facebook will most likely be just fine as a company regardless of the metaverse's success. Whether Facebook was ahead of its time or tried to reinvent a broken wheel remains to be seen.